guys, so as a lot of you know, after my last video, it's really sad, but Booger passed away. She was my Leachianus gecko, and I had her for about 2 years. I'm like about to cry. I'm gonna try and not cry on this video, but yeah, it's just really sad. I'm not really sure what happened, and I was literally holding her and everything was fine, and then she passed away, so it's just really upsetting. Sorry guys. Sorry, I just had to like take a minute. It's just really hard to like come out and say it out loud what happened. It's just really upsetting. But I do have to say that after this horrible experience, I felt like very discouraged and I didn't really want to make videos anymore, and I was planning to take a break. But you guys have been so amazing, and all of the people that have reached out to me and just shown kindness and love it has been so amazing, and it's made me feel so much better in this awful situation, because a lot of you guys reached out and you said that Booger was just like a huge influence for your guys' love for leechies, and a lot of you got interested in them just because of her, and I know how much you guys loved her as well, and that just means so much to me that you guys love my animals as much as I do, and that you guys care so much. And it made me so happy that she was able to inspire a lot of people to love leechies and to love reptiles in general. And that's why I'm here doing what I do, because I've always loved reptiles, and I know people don't really like them, especially if they aren't aware of them and don't have much knowledge. They're scared of them. But she basically did the mission that I've been trying to do, and that just inspired me. So thank you so much for reaching out and just telling me how you feel about everything and just giving me that amazing support, because it made me feel so much better in this situation, and now I feel motivated to just keep doing what I'm doing, because Booger played her part and she was amazing, and she made so many people love leechies, and I couldn't have asked for anything more from her. She was just such a beautiful animal. I will always love her. I'm gonna miss her so much, but I just can't believe the support that you guys have given me. So I'm gonna continue to keep making videos, and I'm gonna keep pushing through, and I just want to get more people interested and loving reptiles as much as I possibly can. And so all of that is thanks to you guys, because I seriously was so discouraged yesterday when I found out that Booger passed away, and I didn't know. I kind of just wanted to stop making videos at that point. So through your support, you've turned everything around, and I feel more motivated, and I'm just ready to keep going. So with all of that said, today I found out that Chancho has mites again, which is also not very good news, but I mean, it's something that I have done before, so I know a lot of you guys have asked questions about how to deal with mites. So in this video, I plan to go over everything that I'm gonna do to fix Chancho's mite situation. So Chancho has had mites before, and they were wood mites because I was using Repti bark. And when you have wood in your enclosure and you're spraying it, because the Indonesian blue-tongued skinks require a very high humidity level, so while I was trying to keep everything nice and moist, it basically was just breeding ground for mites. And they're called wood mites, and they actually are not very harmful to your animal. They aren't parasitic, but I mean, they're annoying and they're gross. So I personally don't want to leave that type of a situation going on, and it just looks very itchy and uncomfortable for the skink. So yeah, that's not cool. So I definitely want to get rid of the situation. I was able to get rid of the mites before, and I switched the substrate that I was using. I'm now using Eco Earth, and I've never had an issue with Eco Earth, but I'm noticing the mites are all over the cork bark in my enclosure, so the mites might be coming from the cork bark I'm using. So today I'm going to have to clean everything out, give Chancho an olive oil bath, and I'm gonna have to bake all of the cork bark as well as some other wood that I have that's just driftwood from California. So I know a lot of you guys have asked me how to do that as well, to make sure that your wood is safe for your enclosures. So I'm just gonna go through all of this information today. Hopefully it will ease some of your minds and just give you more knowledge about how to deal with a situation like this. if it happens to happen to you. So with all of that said, I'm just gonna get to it and start working on this Chancho situation and get him more comfortable and kill off all of those wood mites. So for Chancho's bath, I'm just using this little tank. It's just an extra one that I have laying around, and I filled it up with water. I want to make sure it's enough for his body to submerge into the water, and then I actually just put a tiny little bit of olive oil in there and mixed it around, and it's perfectly safe. And that will definitely just kill off all of the mites that are all over his body. So right now it's going to be probably impossible to see anything, but he has little wood mites that are just surrounding his cork bark. And so that was the first way I found it, other than seeing it crawl on him. So what I have to do is basically take everything out of this enclosure. I'm going to remove all the substrate, throw it in the garbage, and then I'm going to take all of the cork bark and bake it in the oven, and that should kill any mites that are on it, and then everything else just needs to be scrubbed clean and then replaced. He is just relaxing. I was like not focusing. But he's like super chill now. I think he's enjoying his bath. He usually does, because it's gonna help get that shed off of him, and he's just gonna feel so much better, and that's killing all the mites too with him just sitting still like that. So I have all of this driftwood from the beach, so I'm gonna actually bake this stuff as well just to make sure that there's nothing on it. I'm setting my oven at 300. You can also do 200. It's just important that when you're doing this that you check on your wood and make sure that there is not a fire starting or anything. Also, if there's a lot of bark on an item, you should rinse that off and try to get it off as much as you can, just to make sure that it doesn't cause a fire. And when you bake the wood like this, you should leave it for like an hour just to bake, and it usually makes your house smell really, really nice. So I'm going to start adding this from Chancho's enclosure just to make sure that we kill off all of those mites that are on all of the cork bark. I'm actually going to be turning this down just to be safe, so I'm going to do 250 for 1 hour, and then that should be fine. So now that Chancho is removed and all of the cork bark is removed, I just have to take out everything else. And so I have to wash all of this stuff off, as well as these plants over here, and the water bowl and the food bowl. And when I wash that stuff, I just use water and vinegar because it's safe for the animals and it does the job. And then I'm gonna have to remove all of this substrate. These are all the plants from Chancho's enclosure. Ignore this dirty sponge. So this is vinegar and water, so I'm just gonna spray this on everything and then just rinse it all off with warm water and make sure to just scrub everything as much as I can. So now his bowls are perfectly clean, as well as everything else that will be going back in his enclosure. I'm just gonna come over here and check. I cannot say enough, like, keep checking on your wood because I don't want anyone to set their house on fire. So make sure there's no fire, it's all good. The house is definitely starting to smell amazing from the wood, so just awesome. Chancho is still just chilling, enjoying life, having a nice little olive oil bath. There you go, get some exercise. I'm sure he's gonna be pooping soon. So now the next thing to do is to just remove all of this substrate because there could be mites in there still and we don't want that, and he's shed and there's like his skin all over and it just looks gross anyway. So yeah, we need to clean that. So the substrate is out for the most part, so now I just have to take again my vinegar spray and some paper towels and just like thoroughly clean this entire thing out. So I just placed everything back into Chancho's enclosure now that everything has been baked and cleaned off. And after I baked the cork bark, I took it and rinsed everything off just to get any mites off of it, and I put paper towel down. This is very important to do after you have a mite situation, just to monitor and make sure that the mites are gone. So it'll be way easier to find them if you have the paper towel. So just go with the paper towel for a while and you should be good. Another place to check, obviously, for mites would be in the water bowl. So now that everything is clean, it's time to go and get Chancho and just put him back in his new enclosure. And because he's been in olive oil and soaking for so long, I'm just gonna use some paper towels and grab him and just wipe off as much skin as I possibly can. And then usually the mites will come off with it because now that they've been soaking for so long, they should be dead, so they'll just come right off of his body. So we have Chancho here. We're just gonna wipe your body a little bit. I know you don't like this because you hate being held. I understand. So here he is. He's saying hi. Yeah, I know, you're hissing and you're upset. All right, we're gonna go ahead and put you back now. And my hands, after putting him back, like I just have skin all over it. I do see a couple mites, so there are mites that just came off of him, and the water that I just did, there's definitely mites in there, so, but they're all dead. So I'm gonna go wash my hands because this is disgusting and get these dead mites off of me. So I'll be right back. So something else I would like to mention is that, as I said, these are wood mites. There are other types of mites. There are parasitic mites. The wood mites are lighter in color than the parasitic ones that are usually black. So that's something to keep in mind. This technique will work for both mites. However, if you do have a parasitic mite, it is better to just go the full mile and get a mite spray for your enclosure just to make sure that you're really killing everything off, because those parasites can really harm your animal and make them very sick and potentially die. So you don't want that to happen. I did have parasitic mites on my snake once, and basically I just had to quarantine that snake, put him in another room, and I had to spray down his entire enclosure with a mite spray. I used Prevent-A-Mite before, so this is what the spray looks like. If it'll be, can you even see that? There we go. So that's what it looks like. And with the spray like this, you definitely want to make sure that when you're using this type of a spray, you are not feeding your animal in the enclosure where this spray is around, because there are chemicals in it that can really hurt your animal and cause harm to them. You don't want that to happen, so it's really annoying dealing with mites. Obviously they can spread. You want to make sure that you're washing your hands whenever you're dealing with any mites. You don't want to touch anything and then go grab another animal, because they can transfer like crazy and you don't want that. And literally people that go to reptile shows, they take showers afterward. Just to be careful, you don't want to be bringing any mites into your collection ever, because they are just so gross and annoying. You just don't want it. So yeah, I hope that this video was helpful. I hope that none of you guys get mites, but here are some tips to avoid it, and I hope that you guys find it helpful. Please leave a comment. Again, I can't thank you enough for your support and for your kindness and love through everything. Like, you guys are just amazing. I feel like I have found my reptilian family, because growing up I did not have any support with it whatsoever, and everyone thought I was just weird. But you guys get me, you understand me, and you're there for me, and I just appreciate it so much. So again, thank you so much. I hope that you have a wonderful day, and thank you so much for watching. So after some more observation, I'm just like staring at Chancho in his new enclosure. I'm not seeing those wood mites climbing around, but now I see that he actually does have parasitic mites, and I'm just really frustrated at this point. So I'm gonna have to keep giving him baths, and now I will have to use the Prevent-A-Mite. I'll keep you guys updated with this process. Hopefully it will go away. So much fun, huh? But we're gonna get this together. It will be okay. I just feel bad for Chancho. Hopefully he will feel better soon. Let's all just keep our fingers crossed for Chancho.